scientist, ICAR, National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resources, as our expert speaker. As a scientist, Dr. Raja has contributed in the characterization and documentation of 13 new populations of countries ANGR, 4 cattle populations, 1 buffalo, 7 sheep populations, and 2 dog populations of the country, and registered 1 buffalo, 1 sheep, and 2 dogs as new breeds of the country. He has published more than 55 research articles in the national and international reputed journals, 3 edited books, 5 breed monographs, and 10 popular articles. So on behalf of Pushpak Jal Science City, Dr. Raja, I welcome you. Dear participants, Dr. Raja will be speaking on indigenous animal biodiversity, present status, and future prospects. I invite Dr. Raja to deliver his talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, I thank the organizers for providing me such a wonderful opportunity to interact with this your participants. First of all, I want to know, I'd like to know who are the participants here, ma'am?
So they're from schools.
School kids.
They're from around 30 schools across Punjab.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Some are college students.
So
yeah,
that's great. I'm very much pleased, and I have convey my sincere thanks to you and the organizers for providing me such an opportunity to interact with the students. Those are budding kids. They are the future of India. So before, without wasting any time, I will start my presentation. Just it may be some PowerPoint slides I am going to share to the kids, and in between also we can have an interaction if the kids are interested. Okay, thank you. I'll start my presentation. Could you able to see my screen, the presentation?
Yes,
I hope.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Can I try once again with the slideshow mode?
Yes, sir, sure.
Is it coming?
No, sir.
Okay, let me put it normal mode. So, good evening, students. I'll be talking about the indigenous animal.
Go ahead like this.
Yeah, I will. No problem. So, good evening. I'll be speaking, or in other ways we can say, I'll be interacting with you on the indigenous animal biodiversity. What is the present status and future prospects? How this the animal livestock, particularly the animal biodiversity in terms of livestock, which is the backbone of our agriculture and the human economy. So, how they are playing a part, and what will be the future prospects for those livestock. So before entering into the topic as per se, I think you people might have heard the term biodiversity. Biodiversity means that is the diversity in terms of plants, flora, fauna, everything in toto inside in the globe or in the earth. So whatever the living things, either it is a plant or it is a microbes or it is a fungi, whatever may be, those all varieties of plants, fungi, even microorganisms that will make up the nature's the world. So that covers the biological diversity of the world. So each and every living species in the world has a link with each other. There is a ecological balance is there. That ecosystem balance will be there between all the species. The animals are dependent on the plants for their food. Human beings also we depend on the plants for certain for vegetarian food, and certain animals for our non-vegetarian food like egg or meat or fish, whatever may be. So every species is attached with each other. That means they are dependent on each other. In this ecosystem, then the one species will get dominating, the other species will go down. So this ecosystem, particular ecosystem, should not be disturbed. So this entire ecosystem forms the biodiversity, that is the biological diversity. This includes even the fish also. And as I told this, each species will work together in the ecosystem. That means each one is depend on the other to make a balance or supportive life. So if the plants are not there, then we may not get the oxygen, sufficient oxygen depletion will be there. And even for food, we are dependent on the plants for the plant proteins or carbohydrates, whatever maybe we are dependent on the plants. Even the animals are dependent on the plants for their food, and we depend on the animals. Animals also depend. We depend on the animals starting from protection. For dog, as you know, if you see the domestication process, the dog was the first animal to be domesticated by human being for their protection. So when the civilization process starts, dog was the first animal which was domesticated by the human being for their own protection. Because when the human beings are living in the forest, these dogs used to come to the human beings to have the waste material which was thrown by the human beings to eat that material. These dogs used to come to the human beings and they closely attacked, and the domestication started, and the human understand that this dog can protect us from the wild other predators. So like that way, that dogs were first domesticated, followed by the cattle, buffalo, and sheep and goat. Like that, it goes on. So in the ecosystem, every living species is having a interactive. They used to be together, and they will have their interaction. They are dependent on each other. This slide shows that the right side of the slides, you could able to see the figure, which is this every species is dependent on each other. If you see the livelihood of the human beings, World Economic Forum, what they did in 2020, the biodiversity, along with the extreme weather condition, climate change, climate action failure, natural disaster, biodiversity loss was in 4th position. In 2021, it was again it moved to another one place ahead, so it became 5th, because biodiversity loss also one of the factor which plays a major role in the economy of the human beings in the world. Because without biodiversity, we nowhere in the world. So we are all dependent on the biodiversity of the globe. This is depicted in this picture. If you see the food and animal genetic diversity, this is our saving grace, because it gives major dependency like food security for us, then also employment, resilience to the climate change. The animals are more resilient than the human beings, and they are one of the source of energy. Like the dungs are used, and even the work power of the animals like bullocks, they are used for nowadays. Due to mechanization, the usage of bullocks has been reduced due to the mechanization use of tractors. But even in remote villages, certain villages, I have visited few years back the villages in Koraput district or Makangiri district of Orissa. They are using the bullock carts, the bullock power for plowing their agricultural land, and even for the other carrying the loads also. So they are one of the major source of energy. Rural employment through the production of milk, that is one of the another employment which this animal biodiversity is they are giving to the human beings. And also the another thing is important is the women empowerment. Women, if you see, mostly nowadays the trend is towards the white collar jobs from many of us. But if you see in the villages, particularly in the rural areas, the women, those who are in the house, they are household women. They are doing the major, their economies or their revenue is from the either the animals from the animal side or from the agriculture side. So this is an indirect way. This animal genetic diversity is giving empowerment to the women. So this is the saving grace for the human beings. We can say it in other ways. If you see the total biodiversity, India, if you see India, the 7th largest country in the world by the geographical area, which constitutes about 2.5% of the total area of the world. We are having a lot of physiographic divisions, climatic regimes, ecological habits, starting from the Himalayas, where there is, you will feel -20 or -30, even up to -40. And if you go down south to Kanyakumari, there will be 37, 34, even 40 degrees centigrade with 80% humidity, which will be very difficult for sometimes during summer it will be very difficult to not survive, it will stressful to the human life and even the animal life. So that's such a wide climatic regimes we are having. There is no winter in southern part of the country. I am basically from southern India. We never felt any climate, any winter season there. We used to have the summer season, the rainy season and autumn season, but there is no winter season there. Winter means in the night hours it may go up to 20 degrees centigrade. That is not a winter. So during my childhood or during my college days, I never experienced the winter season. Once I was reached back to Karnal for my post-graduation studies, I experienced the winter climate. So such a huge, what I mean to say is that the India as a country, we are having wide diversity in the climatic change, in the physiographical divisions, also the ecological habits also, which gives us rich flora diversity. Apart from that, nearly 8% of the global flora, of which total is endemic in our country. And India is one of the 17th mega biodiversity countries in the world. These are the certain species, this like angiosperm, gymnosperm, like these are number of taxa present in our in India, and which includes your algae, bacteria, viral, fungus, everything. This is included here. From this, we can say there are 4 biodiversity hotspots in India also. These 4 biodiversity hotspots are represented in this map, Indian map. If you see the orange color, that is the Himalayan region where the biodiversity is hotspot is there. And the another one is the Indo-Burman region and the Western Ghats. The another important is the main thing is your Western Ghats and Sunda lands. This Sunda lands includes the Andaman Nicobar Islands also. This is also one of the beautiful biodiversity hotspot. So the Himalayas, which is the highest in the world, we can say everybody knows. It includes your northeastern states, India, Bhutan, central and eastern parts of Nepal also. There are about 163 endangered species are there in this Himalayan hotspot. This includes your Asian water buffalo, like one-horned rhino, like that. If you see the second, the hotspot, that is the Indo-Burma region, this is spreading, stretched over a kilometer of 23,73,000 square kilometer. And here also there are grey shank duck, the geese, leaf deer, like that. This hotspot is endemic for freshwater turtle species. This is one of the species which is endemic here. The another beautiful biodiversity hotspot in India is the Western Ghats. It starts from the down south Kerala and extends up to Maharashtra region. That is one of the beautiful hotspot in the peninsular India. As per UNESCO, this is the home tract or home place where 325 globally threatened flora and fauna are present in this particular hotspot. It spreads over 1,90,000 square kilometers, and this region is known for globally threatened flora and fauna, and wide variety of wild species we can find in this beautiful Western Ghats region, which is majority of the region is comes under the state of Kerala and Karnataka. Then the Sunda land hotspot lies in the Southeast Asia, which covers Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia also. But here, this also includes another beautiful place, that is Andaman Nicobar Islands. That is such a beautiful island place where we can enjoy this nature's beauty there. A lot of flora and fauna, particularly in the forest, wild forest. I visited a couple of times that place. That is such a beautiful place is there, that Andaman Nicobar Islands. Apart from there are certain tribal people, those who never come out of their settlement, they are still in their settlement inside itself. If the people like us, if you want to try to visit that, they will not allow to go into their habitat, that is in their island. You might have heard few years back there was a foreign visitor and tried to enter into their island, but he was not allowed, even though he was uh, killed something, some users were there. So such a beautiful place, that is Andaman Nicobar Islands, with such huge species of flora and fauna is there in that beautiful Andaman and Nicobar Island. Then if you see the coming to the animal genetic diversity, that is particularly the livestock diversity. Livestock comprises of those animals which were domesticated by the human beings. So if that livestock species, under livestock, there are 7 to 8 species are there, starting from cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, even horse, donkey, mithun, yak, and your poultry species also. So livestock, these species, and apart from that, the poultry. The poultry includes your chicken, duck, turkey, etc. These are all domesticated species, which comes under the animal genetic resources, or we can say they are the animal genetic resources and different diversity. If you see the mammalian species, around 5,600 breeds are there, which includes all the domesticated and non-domesticated species. And in avian species, around 2,000 breeds, and total it's around 7,600 or around 8,000 breeds are there. And these breeds can be classified, if you see animal genetic resource, under this we can classify they are local breeds. Local breeds means they will be distributed in particular only one region. Suppose in one country, you people, you students, you might have heard about the Murrah buffalo. Murrah buffalo is only one place, they are one country, that is called local breed. And the regional breeds, they are in different regions. If they are distributed, they are called the regional breeds or regional transboundary breeds. They are moving from one country to another country. International transboundary breeds, they are from different region or different continent. Suppose Holstein Friesian is a cattle which is from US, or US from Germany, your Denmark, like that. It is even it is there in our India also. So international transboundary breed, one of the beautiful example is your Holstein Friesian cow, which is giving milk to us also. Apart from that, there are 600 or 700 extinct breeds. Extinct means they are all now they are completely vanished from the human ecosystem. If you see the animal genetic resources as in the global wise, there are different 7 regions has been classified. One is the African region, the Asian region, European region, and Caucasus region. Then the Latin America and Caribbean, Near and Middle East, North America, South America, North America and Southwest Pacific region. These are the different regions only for the purpose of animal genetic resources. They have been classified. If the animals is moving from one region, which is classified from Asian region to European region, then they are called as the international transboundary breeds. So this already I told, these are the definitions for what I explained in the previous slide. Then in case of animal genetic diversity, India is per se, if you talk, if you see, then before that I used to give only one small definition about the animal genetic resources, what it means. Animal genetic resources, these are used or may be used as a food, for food, you may be used for food and agriculture, and also and the population within the species as well as their stored genetic material. So these animal genetic resources mainly is for our food and also mainly for the agriculture purpose. From agriculture only we are getting majority of the food of our need, that is a food material from the agriculture. Even for our clothes also we are dependent on agriculture. If cotton is not grown in our country, then we have to depend on other country for our clothes. So those species which are used for food purpose and also for agriculture purpose, these species are called as the animal genetic resources. They are the most valuable and strategic important asset of a country. If you are having a huge genetic resources, that will be contributing to the economy of our country in terms of its employment, also food. The food is the main, one of the essential item for any livelihood of any human species. So this will be an important asset for a country. And also for farmers, this is the raw material. Without these livestock or animal genetic resources, and they cannot go for any other work. So this diversity we can say, first starting with the species, then species is your this cattle or buffalo, like that it goes. Under that each species there will be different breeds. So that in the subsequent slides I will tell you what are breeds. Then within the breed there will be different varieties that we can call it as a population, or in case of poultry we can call it as a lions or strains within a breed. If you see total livestock, it is around 536 million as per the livestock census 2019. Every 5 years, livestock census is being conducted in India. So this is the latest livestock census was conducted in the year 2019. That is the 20th livestock census. So every 5 years, the census, that numbers used to be, it should be recorded by the field veterinary doctors and their assistants. So every year they used to every 5 years they used to refresh the figure. As per the recent census, it is 536 million and 851 million are poultry in our India. So the different species I have given the figures. Majority is the cattle, then your goat, then buffalo, then sheep and other species. Other species we can call it as a minor species because they are in lakhs only, they are not in million. So here if you see the India's strength in the world, it possesses the maximum buffalo population and the second largest population of cattle and third of sheep, fourth of duck and fifth and sixth of camel. In case of poultry, we are also having the highest poultry where the majority of the poultry are the egg laying poultry, which is the poultry industry is having this type of poultry. So another important contribution by the livestock sector to the Indian economy is the milk, which is provided by this particular sector, that is the livestock sector. As per the latest figure, we are able to produce 208 million tons per year for our requirement and livelihood for the most of the farmers and also for supporting agriculture activities. So if you see the animal genetic resources, there's around 87% of the livestock is owned by the marginal or small medium farmers. So already I told in the previous slide itself, this is the first total. If you see the total livestock population, India stands first. In case of bovine, that is cattle and buffalo first, goat also first, third sheep and egg production, meat production also we are in fifth position, and second position for cattle, goat and goat meat production. So cattle population, goat and population, goat meat production. So this is the current ranking of India as per the 20th livestock census, which was conducted in the year 2019. So why these animal genetic resources are developed over the centuries? It is not like that it was born like this and we are using it, but it is not like that. Once if you see the domestication process of animals, as already I told, it starts with the dog. Dogs were the first animal to be domesticated. So these other species, cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, these were also domesticated slowly, based on the good qualities which they were having. For example, the cattle, they are able to digest the coarse fibers, even whatever the fibers which we will not be able to digest, but they will be able to digest, because if you see those cattle, they are classified under the ruminants. Ruminants, the cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, they are all ruminants. Ruminants means they will have four compartment in the stomach, starting with the rumen, reticulum, obesum, and abovesum. These are the four compartments. But in case of human beings, we don't have such a compartment in that. But in case of animals, there are four different compartments which are able to digest the coarse fibers also. Even they are having the thermotolerance capacity also. If you compare the Indian breed of cattle and the exotic or a foreign breed of cattle, the thermotolerance in Indian breeds is very much high. For example, if you have you heard the name of the cattle Sahiwal, which is one of the Indian breeds which is distributed in Punjab and Haryana. That breed is having more thermotolerance, even more disease resistance as compared to the foreign breed like Holstein Friesian or your Jersey or whatsoever. Even those Indian breeds are having very good fertility also as compared to the exotic breeds and longevity. If exotic breeds living for 5 years, our breed will live for 15 years. But the milk per lactation or per day milk may be less, but it will be longevity will be more and live for more years. and other things which are considered or which we can say why, because these animal genetic resources were developed over centuries, like social, cultural, economic, and ecological importance. For example, if you can say cultural, you might have heard one issue sometimes back. There is a game which is called Jallikattu, one of the cattle breed which is in southern part of the India, that is in Tamil Nadu. There is a called Kangayam, that is Kangayam, and there is a breed called Pulikulam. These two breeds, cattle breeds, they were used for bull taming. That means they will, for 1 year, they will train the bull, and in the end of the year, what they will do, they will keep open that bull in an open field, and whosoever catching that field bull, he will be awarded with some prize. So that person will be uh, uh, will have some he will be regarded as a strong person of that particular village. So that's such a cultural value is having most of our indigenous livestock. And also the most important is economical and ecological importance. Even we are having other breeding goals like milk production, meat production, fiber production, and eggs and draft power. Draft power is reducing, as already I told, that due to the mechanization in the agriculture. Nowadays, due to the your global warming, slowly in some part of the country, they are started using the bullock power as a draft power for plowing and carrying the loads. How these are utilized? Food value, they are having different values like food value, energy value, ecological value. Like your milk, meat, and eggs, these are the part of our food. Milk is the major junk which contributes, that is the whole milk is a complete food. In other terms, we can say. So milk is the major junk which is contributed by the animal genetic resources, particularly the buffalo. Around 48 to 50% of the total milk production in the country is contributed by the buffalo breeds of our India. So that is one of the major contribution apart from meat, from poultry and eggs. That is another protein source, animal protein source for us. And the energy value, starting already I told draft power, then the pack animals, most importantly the pack animals. If you go to the Jammu Kashmir or Leh Ladakh or in Himachal Pradesh or even in the northeastern region, these mules, yaks, mithun, donkey, they are being used as a pack animals. They used to carry the loads of materials for the human use. Though these animals used to be used as a pack animals. Even your dung cakes from the animals, they are used as in the biogas as a fuel power, and they are having certain ecological value also. That soil fertility is being maintained by the large ruminants and the small ruminants. And even this pig and poultry are as having this as a scavengers. Scavengers means whatever the waste material which are from the human beings, either from the kitchen or their from the routine usage, some food material is wasted. This pig and poultry can be reared as a scavengers. They will eat those waste material as a food for them, and they will grow and they will have a livelihood in the. They will have they will survive in the ecosystem. So another, if you see this, another type of utility, therapeutical value also there, pharmaceutical, milk and milk proteins, their entertainment value. One of the horse, there is a ponies in the northeastern region. Now there is a difference between a horse and pony. Those horses which are smaller in size, they are called as ponies. That is in terms of hands. They used to measure the height in terms of hands. Those those horses which are 14 hands lesser than 14 hands in height, those are called as ponies. The northeastern region, there is a pony called this Sikkim pony. They are used for polos, that cart races. Even in Punjab, I have seen the cart races. Even in Rajasthan, camel races are very popular during the camel fairs. Bird fights, particularly the Asil breed of Andhra Pradesh, they are used as one of the birds for that is Asil breed used for bird fights and horse dancing competitions. Also, the horses, indigenous breeds are used. And already we discussed, they will give the employment generation, women empowerment, and the certain individuals or certain farmers, they used to maintain these animals as a pride. For example, the Murrah buffalo, if you go in the villages of Haryana, particularly the Sind and the Rohtak region. Even they are maintaining the buffaloes as a pride of their family. Even in southern part of the country, if you go, certain dog breeds, indigenous dog breeds, they used to maintain as a pride. They will not give to anyone. They will give as a dowry to their daughters also. One dog will be given as a dowry during the marriage. Such a pride the families they are having for their dogs. Such an attachment for those dog breeds. Then the diversity value already told, thermal tolerance, resistance, etc., etc. So this is your the biodiversity or animal genetic resources being utilized or utility. Based on this utility, social cultural values, these were developed over the centuries. Those animal genetic resources were developed or they have been modified as per the requirement of human beings. They were Murrah buffalo was not born 200 years back like this, which used to give 20 liters of milk per day. It was not like that. Those animals from the group, the best animals have been selected by the human being that has been raised. So human beings, we have modified those species if are as per their requirement during the process of domestication from the wild to the domestic animals. During this gradual process which happened centuries back, so this wild buffalo become the domestic buffalo, wild cattle become the domestic cattle, even the wild dogs become your domestic dog. Like that, gradually this process of domestication has been taken place and which has been used, or we can say it is a domesticated or has been changed to our, this we changed as per our need. So if you see the total livestock diversity in this is this as per the 2019 census. This is the figure which I have given already given. This is the figure you can see. This is the last column. How much there is a change? If you see, there is horse, donkey, there is a decline, even camel also. So in other species like goat and pig and buffalo, there is an increase. So that means overall there is an increase in the, since 1951, if you compare, there is a increase. Even to the 2012 census, there is slight changes or slight increase in almost all the species, we can say. And there is a much higher increase in terms of poultry, because poultry has become one of the protein source for our routine normal life. So this is this I depicted in a different way in a pictorial diagram where the cattle is about 35%, so then the goat, then buffalo is in third position, then sheep and other species. So here it is in case of poultry, backyard is around 37% and majority is contributed by the commercial poultry, which is the mainly the layers and the broilers. So this is the again the figure per animal per person. This is the figure. And if you see the big 5 species of the world, cattle, sheep, pig, goat, and chicken are the big 5 species which is contributing to the human beings. But in case of in India, the big 5 species which is contributing to the our ecosystem and even the livelihood is the cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, and chicken. Here the pig is not there in our big 5 species. Pig is replaced by buffalo, because India is having one of the highest milk producing buffalo breed of the world, we can say. So that Indian buffalo, that is the Murrah buffalo, is the buffalo breed which is producing the highest milk production, and number is also in huge numbers. So this is the livestock breeds, that is a diversity which is given by the Food and Agriculture Organization, which is located in the Rome, Italy. And as per their document, there are 257 breeds. But as per NBHR document, as on date, we have registered and documented 202 breeds, starting from cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat. These all species, which is cattle is having the highest number of breeds, followed by sheep, then goat, then the remaining species. These are the even dog, three indigenous dog breeds, Indian dog breeds also has been registered. So this is such some beautiful goat breeds from the Himalayan region. This is the top one is the Chantangi goat, which is distributed in the Ladakh plateau of the Ladakh region, and the lower one is your the goat, which is in Himachal Pradesh. Then this is also some native goats of Leh and Ladakh region, where it is this breeds are maintaining at a high, they are surviving at a height of 13,000 feet or 14,000 feet, where there is a high demand for high hypoxic condition is there. If you go beyond this 50, even I went up to the height of 17,000 feet, where I felt for the oxygen need. So that is a severe hypoxia is there. Even in that region, these animals are surviving. So another beautiful species in the Ladakh is the double-humped camel, which is very beautiful bacterian camel. Double-humped camel is the bacteria, the Camelus bacterians. So this is in the Nubra Valley of Ladakh, around 18,300 feet. You see such a high altitude with such a high hypoxic condition. These animals are surviving, and they are used as a pack animals. They are used for carrying the human beings or human would need daily need items. Even in militaries also, these animals are used as a pack animals. They will be about to move 5 kilometers per hour. Such a beautiful and highly adapted species in that high range. And then the next photograph, these are the yak population, which is also in the Ladakh, or you can see Changtang Valley of the Ladakh region. Changtang Valley is one of the beautiful valley, which is the height is about 15,000 to 16,000 feet, where the Changtang breed of goat is distributed, and this particular yak population also distributed there, which is thriving there. You can see this, we can call it as a desert, cold desert, nothing will be there. Very small shrubs used to be there, which this animal used to graze and survive there. Even the mountains, you will see the only dark or brown color mountains. There is no greenish in these mountains. The hills there, you will feel they are empty or barren. During winter, nothing will grow, and once the summer starts, all the ice will melt and come down. No greenish, nothing is there. Even then, these animals are surviving there. So another beautiful the dog species, which is called a chunky dog, which is also surviving there along with the tribal people of that Champaka tribe, who used to have this dog as their god animals, or we can call it as a shepherding dog. These Champaka tribe, they are in the entire Changtang Valley. They are maintaining their Changtang, the sheep and goat, to have protect these sheep and goat. These dogs are highly helpful. Without these dogs, it will be very difficult for them to protect these animals when they go for grazing from the predators. So these dogs are very loyal to the owners, and they are helping these owners to protect their sheep and goat from the predators. Such a beautiful and highly obedient dog, which we visited last year October, and these dogs were what can I say? It is very much helpful, and it's part of their livelihood of this particular Champaka tribal people of this region. So this genetic diversity in the country, how we are going to manage, what we are going to do to document it. Main thing is like this, we can find a number of species, a number of livestock species and poultry species throughout the country, starting from your Kashmir to Kanyakumari, in the north to south, and starting from Gujarat to northeast, your Assam and even Arunachal Pradesh. In this length and breadth of the country, we can find n number of livestock species. In this n number of 190, around 500 odd million population, we could able to find only 202 breeds. Remaining are even 50% of the total livestock has not yet been documented or studied. All the remaining 50%, only 48 to 50% we could able to cover. Remaining 50% still they are yet to be identified. We can call it as a non-descript or undescribed population. So to describe that, we as a human being, as a scientist, we have to identify and we have to evaluate it, and we have to study it, how it is economically or ecologically important to that particular region or particular the people who are maintaining this particular livestock and poultry. For example, we visited sometimes back in 4 or 5 years back the district called Koraput district in Odisha. That is one of the backward districts. There we found very small sized sheep, around 20 kg weight. That sheep population, they are maintaining or rearing only for their food as a mutton animal. Their mutton purpose only they are maintaining. That is the part of the livelihood. But still, that up to 2016-17, that population has not been identified. We only could able to identify and we could able to reach those individuals, those who are rearing those sheep. So that much in many part of the country, if you go deep into the villages, we find a lot of nondescript populations. So these populations needs to be studied, and they have to be characterized, and they have to be well documented. Otherwise, the future generation, how they will know these are the genetic resources, that the genetic value of the country. They will be, if we are not able to document it, the previous our forefathers, they have documented certain species, then only we will be able to know that these species are there in our country. Like that, if we are documenting, then our future generation also will be able to see that these are the species which are present in our country. So this is purely academic. How we will do the characterization based on the physical appearance, and also based on the genetic part. Genetic, like starting from the chromosome, blood group, protein, and DNA. We used to do the genetic characterization. Phenotypically, physical description only we will see. So certain parameters we will study from the field. So this is who will do this. What the characterization activity? NBHR, as an NBHR, we are doing it in collaboration with the Animal Husbandry Department or the veterinary or agriculture universities. Even certain NGOs, they are playing a major role in documenting such a wonderful animal genetic resources of the country. There is an NGO called Saijivan, there is an NGO called Vasan, we can say there is an NGO called Seva. Few example I am telling. These NGOs are playing very major role in characterizing or in documenting such a unique germplasm or unique genetic resource of the country. Apart from the official department like the state animal husbandry department or NBHR or agriculture universities. Apart from that, these NGOs, they are playing a major role in this. So this is the definition as per the Food and Agriculture Organization, how we are going to identify the distinct population by their external or physical characteristics, which they are evolved to a particular environment under a particular management conditions. So this is the procedure, how we will do it, and we'll go and we'll see those distribution, record the native environment, the socioeconomic status of the keepers, animal keepers, they are the main, their socioeconomic status is important, because as I told from the beginning, these animal genetic resources plays a major role in the economic status of the poor people, those who are maintaining these lifestyles. So that is very much important when you go for studying. Apart from the scientific aspect, the socioeconomic aspect is very much important to document. So we are having a database also where we can, through mobile app also, we can document these genetic. So anybody can document it. It will come to us, and we will be able to know some unique population or breeds are there in the country. So apart from that, we will do the photographic and videographic documentation also. Then we put it in terms of the descriptors or the monographs that will be published for each and every breed. Around 202 breeds I told. For that, around 160 or 170 breeds they are having this breed monograph. Remaining, it is in the process of publication. As already we discussed, our indigenous, the animal genetic resources, they are having certain unique attributes. For example, the Vechur cow, which is the smallest, one of the smallest breed, apart from Punganur cow. That Vechur cow is from Kerala. You might have heard. This is the one of the smallest breed, which is for which the breeding tract is the distribution is in the Western Ghats. A part of Western Ghats, this particular Vechur cow is distributed. Its milk is having a very good content of lactoferrin, which is used. Lactoferrin is this protein which is having high value for disease resistance. And another, you might have heard a name called Kadaknath chicken. That is the black color chicken. The chicken breed or the poultry breed in the country which is having the black colored meat, which is having the highest melanin pigment in that. So it is having the color as a black color meat. So this black color meat is having very huge demand in the country. So this entire body, entire color of the animal, the bird itself is black. Even starting from the comb also will be black. Even the beak and the battles, everything is black. Where the feathers, all will be black. If you cut the meat also will be in black. So they are having a very huge demand for this chicken, this Kadaknath. Again, like there is a breed called Bandur in Karnataka. Those breed, the mutton which is produced from the sheep is having very high nutritious value because it is having a high protein content, and this intermuscular fatty is also very high. So this is there is a huge demand for that particular meat or mutton. Again, the Kadaknath already told they are having, these are the average the protein, high protein, iron, and low fat content of this. So the genetic condition is there is fibromyalgia, black color, because of this melanin pigment only. These tissues or the muscles or the bone, everything is black color meat. It is having high vitamin E and carnitine antioxidants, which promotes our body health, including protection against the inflammation and the certain normal diseases. So this is having a high content of essential amino acids also, and the meat is having low percentage of fat. So goat milk, already we know that goat milk, Gandhiji used the goat milk as for routine daily, used to have the goat milk in his routine diet. So this is as a food we can use, as a drug also. Sometimes they are telling, I mean, even it's having high health benefits also. It is a high rich, having high rich proteins, and this is during digestion that certain protein fragments will be released, and it will be useful for the biological activities of the body. Then your skin, it also true. There are certain studies like that it is having alpha hydroxy acids, vitamin A is there, high content of minerals also there, which is having a, which improves the skin quality of the human beings. So it is also having high calcium and fatty acids, but it's having low cholesterol. So this is more beneficial. If low cholesterol is there, it will be beneficial for the heart, human heart. Then camel milk, recently there is a huge demand for camel milk, which is having like it may have like a insulin like protein is there in this camel milk. So ultimately it may helpful for avoiding preventing diabetes also, and it is very easy to observe through circulation, and this will have nanoparticles like lipid vehicles, and it will be very much useful for the maximum vitamin B1 is 11% is present in this milk. So it is a huge demand for this camel milk also. Health benefits, it boosts your immune system, prevent anemia as its iron content is more. It's preventing diabetes where it's like act like an insulin factor. Autoimmune disorders, it increases the blood circulation in the body, as it is having low fat or the cholesterol content. It will reduces the atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is the accumulation of fat in your arteries, so thereby it reduces the heart attack and strokes. And it certain kids, if you see certain kids in a family, they will have the problem of lactose intolerance. If you fed the milk of cattle or from buffalo, it will not get digested in their stomach, and it will sometimes they will vomit, or sometimes the milk will be excreted in the motion without proper digestion. This may be due to the conditions called lactose intolerance. So but this camel milk is not having that problem of lactose intolerance, and also it stimulates the growth and development of bone and organ system. Then that's Pashmina goat. That is the Changtangi goat is otherwise called as Pashmina goat. That is the soft gold in local language, which is maintained by this Champaka, this tribal. This is distributed in the Changtangi and Chegu region of the Jammu Kashmir. As well, Jammu Kashmir, now it is Ladakh region. There normally the Pashmina will have a white or grey color coat. As this or it may be in some black or brown color. Majority of the animals are white in color. Annually, India produces about 50 tons of fiber. This is a fine fiber. This is mainly used for making the woolen items for the winter. These people, those who are rearing this Pashmina goat or Changtangi goat, they don't know the value of the wool which is being produced by their goat. They don't know the actual value. Once in the name of Pashmina, we are paying very huge amount in the local markets. So these people, they don't know much about. They don't know they are selling the wools, but they don't know that their product is being sold such a huge price in the Indian market. Then even donkey milk, even during COVID time also there was news that even if you take donkey milk, even there was news that even for HIV patients, this donkey milk can be given because this is having very high content of amino acid, vitamin A, B, B6, C, D, omega-3 fatty acids. Also, it is having high amounts of calcium, and they are having 4 times less, and that's 1/4 of the fat as in case of your normal milk. So nowadays the donkey milk and meat, there is a huge demand and it is being sold. There is a huge demand for this donkey milk and meat. So these are the certain unique characters or uniqueness in our indigenous animals. So how this unique animals with unique characters how it can be called as a breed? Breed is a terminology which is used to a group of animals which are having uniform phenotypic characters. So they should have a uniform pattern. Suppose if you take the Chantangi breed, they will have the uniform characters, uniform pattern utilized because the Chantangi's breed is exclusively more than 90% of the animals are used for the wool making. Remaining 10% they are used for the chavan production. And the another criteria to be considered as a breed is that they should have a common habitat or they should distribute it in the common area. If you see the example, I am telling the Chantangi goat, it is distributed in the Chantang Valley, which is about 15 to 16,000 feet above the mean sea level, where the partial pressure of oxygen is very much low as compared to the mainland. And it should breed among themselves. It should breed the male and female should breed among themselves. Then only it will have a closed gene pool, and this will be a distinct from the other animals of that particular region. So it should have a common utilization pattern. It should be distributed in a particular distribution area, and it should be closed. That means closed gene pool means it should mate among themselves. So these unique breeds or unique populations prior to 2008, no recognition was given. So local people will give name something, that name will be there and they will breed as per their need. But after in the year 2008, NBHR as an institute, we started giving recognition under the IPR, intellectual property rights. These breeds were started. We are registering the breeds. That means we thought that there is a Plant Protection Variety Act is there in case of plants, where any person can register his or her plant variety which he developed. But for animals, it was not there up to 2008. In 2008, it was started. In the initial phase, in the first phase in 2008 itself, we have registered 129 breeds. After that, in the 14 years time, we have registered up to 202 breeds, and every breed is a unique breed, and that will be the recognition for the people or the person who is maintaining that breed. It will be registered in the name of the name given by that particular people who is rearing that particular breed. So these are general eligibility criteria which we used to follow for registering the breed. That is, it should be a stable population. It should have any potential uniform characters. That is the main criteria. And another important criteria is it should be at least 1,000 animals should be there. So this will be submitted to us, and it will be. And there is a committee for registering this breed registration committee that will be registering the animals, and one identity number will be given to the breed, not to the individual animal. Identity number will be given to the breed as a whole. This is the identity number. If you see, this is your identity number for each breed will be given for each breed. So as on date, we have given for 202. Of the total livestock population, we could able to cover 50%. In the 50% covering itself, we got 202 breeds. If the remaining 50% is covered and documented, means we may get another 200 or 300 breeds. That we have to do in the future. That will give more economy to the people, those who are rearing, because it is not possible that we should not expect that everyone will come and read and they will study and they will become a doctor or an engineer or a scientist, whatsoever. So there are certain, even more than 50-60% of the people, they are in the village conditions. They are still living in the village, mainly dependent on the animal husbandry and the agriculture for their livelihood. So to give a credit to them, to improve, if once the breed is registered, it will be known all over India, even the worldwide it will be known, and it will increase the value of that particular breed as a brand name. So that will give more remuneration to that particular people, those who are rearing that. So that is the aim behind that. So one for each breed, one registration number is given. So this is another the official technical part. This validity, if you register one breed, it is for 25 years. So if you see as a whole, what was the actual outcome? Up to 2020, there was nothing just registered and one number was given. In 2020, Government of India thought that the Gazette, it should be notified in Gazette of India. So the steps were taken during 2018-19, and in 2020, Government of India permitted to notify in the Gazette. Gazette is the one document which is the important, whatever the amendment, whatever the decision taken by the government, this will be published in the Gazette book. So in that Gazette book also, our animal breeds has been published. That is one of the credit given to the poor people, those who are maintaining for those animals. So what we have to do in the future, so we will be documenting properly those animals which needs to be documented. It is not the mistake of the animal which we are unable to do the documentation. Animal cannot come and say that you come and document it. So that is our part as a scientist. We have to document it physically, and also some genetic studies also needs to be supplemented to have the physical document, and it needs to be surveyed, and it needs to be documented as an animal species. Then it should be documented as an animal breed. In turn, it will give the livelihood to the people, those who are rearing. For example, I'm saying there is one small sheep breed which was not recognized till 2018, 17 or 18. Why? Because I'm telling only very few animals were there, around 1,500 animals were there. That main utility of that particular sheep breed is that every day morning, if a shop owner is there, he used to bring and tie his animal in front of his shop, because the animal is in black color. So that will be like it will prevent the evil which will come to his shop. He is having a myth that if I am tying this animal in front of my house, bad things won't come to my shop. Because of that, for that purpose only, that was being maintained. So thinking that utility is how the people those are rearing that particular breed is they are thinking. So keeping that value as an important one, that has that population, even though it is in 1,500 or 2,000 total number, that has been registered and it has been maintained as one of the breed, and recognition has been given to that particular breed. So as a whole, we should build a future that will be shared for all. This is the quoting given by the United Nations for the year 2022 as biological diversity conservation, or we can protect our biological value. So we should help the ecosystem to be maintained, and that also to be in such a way that will be beneficial for the people, those who are rearing those livelihood of the people, those who are rearing those particular breed, or whatever maybe the animal species, or the livestock species, or the poultry species. So it should be in that sense. We have to build a future in such a way that it should be the benefit which is coming out of that particular animal population should be shared among all the people, those who are involved in that. So one of the quote which I took it from the biodiversity, that's the United Nations biodiversity site. This biodiversity remains the answer to several sustainable development challenges, from nature-based solution to the climate change, your health issues, food and water scarcity, and sustainable livelihoods. Biodiversity is the foundation upon which we can build a better nation in terms of health or whatever may be. So biodiversity should be maintained at any cost. It should not be lost at any cost. It should be maintained properly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we can take a few questions. Any one of you who would like to ask question from, please raise your hand. We'll unmute you. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, may I answer this screen? May I answer this?
DAV. Yes, sir. And please share. Dikshita,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
may please ask the question.
Sir, maybe it's slide number 41 or 40, where we discuss about the camel milk. Here I read the word proteolysis. Can you explain it little more?
Proteolysis, what is the proteolysis?
Yes, sir. How camel milk help in proteolysis?
What is the process of can you say what is the process of proteolysis means?
Hanji, sir.
Can you explain to me?
Sir, proteolysis, according to me, how protein get converted, how protein structure distributed. Can you explain it little more?
Here the issue is that the camel milk, if you see as a whole, it will be, suppose if protein this proteolysis process as such, that will be happening in your where it happens, in which part of your intestine it happens. Can you tell me where the proteolysis happens in the system? She's there?
Yes, sir. She's there.
Actually, sir, I am from non-medical branch. So
Fine. If you know, you can please.
Sir, I am from non-medical branch,
Yeah.
so biology.
Just think it out. Any biology student in this group, they can answer this question. Don't take it in another way. Just I want to be an interactive one. Any biological student, 10th student can answer this question. Proteolysis. What is meant by proteolysis? Anybody is there from biology background? In 10th class itself, it's coming. I think even in 9th, my son has read in his 8th class. I hope in CBSE, NCERT. Anyone, please. Nobody is there from biology background. So I will explain to that girl. So what is meant by proteolysis is the process. Ma'am, any biology student is there?
There may be, but they may not be knowing the answer.
They may not be knowing, but 10th class student definitely they will be knowing. 10th and 12th nowadays it is there. No problem. So you are from which background?
Actually, 10th class students are
Pardon, ma'am.
Dikshita is from non-medical. Actually, 10th class students may not have joined because of exams.
Okay,
We
fine.
have students from 7th, 8th, maybe 9th.
Because the breakdown of protein, we can call it as a proteolysis, what I understood from, because this process I read it in my 12th class. So this protein, whatever the food material you are taking inside, it will have the carbohydrates, mainly the carbohydrates. Majority of the food, the major chunk contributes by carbohydrate, a little portion of your protein, and a little portion of your fat. So all these three combined together forms your food. Okay. So if you take the carbohydrate, it will be converted into energy. That is adenosine triphosphate is a compound. Once your food is digested, it will be converted into ATP. That will give energy. What happened to the protein? Protein also will be digested in the stomach and it will be absorbed. But again, the protein will be again converted into a glucose only. It cannot be absorbed as such in the blood, but that will be converted into a ATP only, energy. It will be converted to glucose and then it will be converted into energy. It will be absorbed. If it is not properly lysed or if it is not properly absorbed from the stomach, then there is no use of that particular protein. So once proteolysis happens, means the protein will be lysed and it will not be absorbed properly. So to prevent, normally the carbohydrates will be, the digestion will be happening in the stomach, and the proteins, it will be done in the the lower part of your the digestive system. So if it is not, if it is lodged in the stomach itself, then there will not be any proper utilization of that particular protein. So what this camel milk will do, it will bind to that particular particular protein is present in your food, and it will prevent the lysis of that particular protein by the enzymes present in the stomach. So when in the latter part of the digestion, it will be broken down and it will be converted into ATP or glucose, then it will be absorbed. Even the fat also will be converted into energy only. The excess carbohydrate, whatever you are taking, in the end, whatever the body needs, above the need, if it is there, then again that particular carbohydrate will be converted into fat and it will be stored. During the stored fat, then again, whenever there is a need, when you are not taking food, that protein and the fat will be again digested or converted back into glucose, and it will be used as energy for your body. So this is the digestive mechanism which is happening. Once you are not having sufficient glucose in your body, the stored fat and protein will be converted. So during that time, sometimes it may prevent that proteolysis process in the system. Thereby, it will be helping the body protein breakdown. It will prevent the body protein breakdown. Once the energy is not there, if you are suffering from energy, low energy in your body should have energy to work, not physical work. If you do every organ when it is working, even heart pumping, your blood circulation, your brain working, everything, energy is needed. Energy, ATP is the main source of energy. Once you are not taking proper glucose or proper food at time, what will happen? The body will break down your body stored protein and fat. So that camel milk will prevent that protein breakdown. Thereby, it will be preventing the damage to the body cells. So that way, it helps the body. It protects the body proteins by protecting the proteolysis. Get it? Are you clear?
I hope, Dikshita, you've got the answer.
Any? She's there?
Yeah, she is there.
So once the energy depletion is there, then automatically the fat and protein in the body will be utilized.
Okay, sir, I understand.
Any other question, please? Please raise your hand. Okay, no more questions. Now we would wind up. Now I would like to thank Dr. Raja. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invite and sharing this insightful presentation on animal biodiversity of India, animal genetic resources, its utility and management. It was a great learning for us all, and we hope to hear you in future too. And thanks to all the teacher coordinators and students for joining us in today's action. Tomorrow we have another interesting talk on zoonotic diseases and its prevention. So see you all tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
But before closing, I also like to convey my sincere thanks to the organizers for providing me such an opportunity to talk to the students who are the future of India. So my best wishes to everyone. All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.